New toy plastic. Nothing better. This is my toy collection, perfectly curated by me, for me. And this is G.I. Joe, one of my favorite franchises made famous in the 1980s. PopCon is introducing 2 new action figures to the ranks, so join me for their debut, as well as what makes this collection tick. I'm Victor, this is PopCon, powered by Gen X. That's me. Thanks for coming back to the channel, everybody. You know, you've seen this wall of toys behind me for some time, and with Veterans Day just recently passed, I thought it was a great opportunity to give you a tour of one of those franchises, to just see who, what, and why makes up one of these collections. Then you can help me add to the ranks with Stalker and Sgt Slaughter. Let's go meet the team. No, not this team, this team. At least the Joes. The Real American Hero version of G.I. Joe is a direct sequel to the original line of 12-inch action figures. But the new 3 3/4-inch version released in '82 would get the whole 1980s treatment. Cartoon miniseries by Marvel and Sunbow would start in 1983 and were obviously designed to sell toys and loads of other merchandise from Hasbro's successful military line. The action figures arrived in my house before the cartoon, and Snow Job was my first. How could I forget with a name like that? We only had a few, but code names, the backstories, the creative plot adventures in the series that had become an after-school cartoon staple introduced us to the incredibly likable and creative characters developed by Marvel for both the original comic book and then the action-packed animated series. These G.I. Joe classified action figures I collect for my toy shelf are the most memorable characters who came early in the original stories and for the most part have kept their place throughout the entire series and the multiple incarnations of the mythology. These guys represent what I saw when I watched the brave men and women of this military force battle Cobra, and not what our parents saw. They don't have to look like the original toy counterpart, but represent all they can be as real-life versions of those memorable heroes that because of their legendary longevity have stayed with me and in the annals of pop culture history. All right, well, let's get to these guys. Let's open them up, get a sneak peek before we get an up-close and personal look. You'll notice that Sgt Slaughter comes with a very different kind of box. He doesn't have the window box like Stalker does. This is, of course, the way a lot of new toys are going now, not it being able to give you that plastic window to see inside, but that's okay. I don't really care. Like so many other people care, I don't. So this came in a cardboard mailer. I'm going to take them out in a moment anyway, so let's take a quick look at their boxes because they're different. First up, we have Stalker, and he's in traditional G.I. Joe classified packaging, still with the window. Now here's the artwork done by Frank Morrison. I gotta be honest, with all the artwork, this is not my favorite. There's something about the depiction of his face, that mouth, and it's not always supposed to be realistic. Not all the artwork is the same, but I wasn't a big fan of that. Traditional artwork on the back of this wave, and is the 46th character. Once again, I don't know what the rest of that crap is on the side of his box. Now Sgt Slaughter, completely different without a window. And there's a lot of different images and pictures of him on the front, whether it's from his animation model, from kind of a picture of his real self. But this artwork on the side, pretty hot. I like that look, very realism, and the look in those eyes, the sunglasses reflecting the planes in there. Shows a lot of his pieces, and he comes with a bunch. As the 53rd classified, even though he's in different packaging, he's the same as everybody else. All right, that's that. Let's get these babies open. So like I said, this is Stalker. He was actually part of the original 1982 A Real American Hero toy line. This is the first G.I. Joe Real American Hero of that era that I remember having in our house. Stalker, the little 3 3/4-inch action figure we had of him, he belonged to my brother Kirk. So not me, but this was Kirk's. But anyway, here he is out. Oh, just dropped something already. Couple things that I really like about Stalker, that he comes with this cool, like, big scarf. He's very fashionable, apparently. But anyway, Stalker, like I said, came out in 1982 as an original figure, and he's got a lot of great accessories. Various guns and a dagger as well. He does come with that scarf, and of course he comes with his beret that just fell on the floor. I'll get that in a minute. All right, so we'll get an up-close personal look at Stalker in a moment, but we do want to go ahead and open the box for Sgt Slaughter. This is amazing. This is the first time that G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero back in the early 80s, decided to use a real person as a figure in their toy line. So as you can see when I open it up, there he is, pretty simply put. He is not put in any plastic. He has a lot more cardboard here, which I get it, trying to save the planet, understand. Now there looks like to be a couple of hemp rope around tying him to the case there. The cases just looks a lot like the rest of the motif of the decor here. But there's more to this, not there. There is another slip box inside, so you can slip that other side out. There, we've already looked at the box, so So here it is, and I think that it is what is inside here that matters. I'm going to assume that Sgt. Slaughter, all of his accessories are in this little box. By the way, I mentioned that he was the first person in the American Hero toy line to be resembled off of a real person. They would later get to another figure, someone from football. Do you guys remember Refrigerator Perry? Yeah, he became a G.I. Joe as well. That's for another show. All right, yes, so inside, we look like we are getting his accessories in there, which we'll look up close, but I think it's inside this paper, which has Cobra and G.I. Joe's emblem on it. I see it already. A couple things in here. What's in it? It's like a little baggie. Oh, it's a baggie that is totally closed. Oh, there we go. Not hard to open that at all. Okay. Well, what I see is his hat. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we see his hat and a lot of extra hands, but what we also see amazingly is the miniature G.I. Joe on blister card. This is incredible. This is what really made this fun for me. And I'll give you a close-up in a little while of this in a better light. But this is the small, teeny action figure of Sgt. Slaughter that comes with the G.I. Joe classified figure of Sgt. Slaughter. You can see how small that is. All right, we'll check it up close and personal now because we're going to carousel. Let's do it. All right, Sgt. Slaughter, what an imposing gentleman. He is the G.I. Joe drill instructor. It says so on his file card, although his name is classified. This is an incredible character. He did appear in the animated cartoon in the early 80s, and the likeness is pretty damn good. He appeared with many of my other favorites, so it was a pretty awesome character in real life, as he was, and in his action figure. Now, if you notice a lot of great detail here, he was a mail-away figure, part of a mail-away process since he was a real person. It was a highly anticipated promotion. He did not come in the regular packaging because he was mail away, but this guy comes with this great little baggie that has his extra hands. It has his other pieces like the baton, the whistle, and even the hat and the sunglasses. He also comes with a weapon. He does have a machine gun and a magazine there to attach to the bottom. So he's got some extra articulation. We'll get to that in a minute. It's pretty amazing. Now, there is no backpack, but there's a hole for one, and he's got that amazing white belt. Is that the proper thing to wear at this time of year? Now, the hat and sunglasses go on really easy, but they also come off really easy, so I was really thrilled that they hold on to the head, but they are little, so be careful, don't lose them, but it looks awesome with or without. He is such more powerful looking, of course, with them. Now look at this articulation in the chest. He could bend over backwards for everybody and all the G.I. Joes, but look at that. Right there in the shoulder, there's an extra joint so that his arms and his entire arms can go back and forth even more. So I love the extra room there. Here's what I said about the look. Those sunglasses and hat are perfect, and with this articulation, with his design, which is to a T like the original. It's exactly what we wanted in a Sgt. Slaughter action figure, and now we can have one. Now, so easy to pose, you know, if I can get it. Listen, these guys have big ass feet, but it doesn't help stand up. It always seems to be really difficult. But here he is looking awesome. So he can have those closed fists, he can have open fists, and he can hold something fantastic. Just like the cover of his box, we see him pushing through with a little action figure of himself. He comes with one, a mini Sgt. Slaughter action figure on an original card, which he didn't. So this is an awesome extra, and I love it. The next Joe to join the roster here is Stalker. Stalker was the first G.I. Joe in my household, and his file card says his name is Lonzo Wilkinson of Infantry, as well as a medic and interpreter. Now, when you look at the cartoon counterpart, it's amazing, because when you look at him here, you go, this new action figure, it delivers. It truly delivers on a toy that we thought we should have had then, so this is perfect. A lot of great gear. See all the gear and the detail in his uniform. He even comes with this incredible scarf. Very fashionable, but he pulls it off really well here. It goes right over his head. You can see him posed with his dagger as well as his gun and magazine. The scarf there looks perfect with the outfit, and snugly the beret fits right on. Now G.I. Joe has a penchant for berets, and I've got 3 of them. I love it. So here in this pose, he's an incredible figure. He fits perfectly in the line. He looks like the character we knew. What else could you ask for? Oh yeah, some good old comparisons. All right, we're here looking at Stalker, the G.I. Joe classified figure, along with his original animation model. You can see him in some animations stills as well to compare. And then finally, his figure on card back from the original 80s. Here it is out of box. You can see, I mean, it's a good look. You know who you're looking at. But at the same time, you see that the technology of toys, as I've always said, has gotten so much better. This is the Stalker we saw on TV. This is the Stalker we knew, and this is the Stalker we deserve. There is so much to say about Sgt Slaughter. Here in the classified, we see a character that we know and love and looks so much like the cartoon jumped off the screen. As I said, he wasn't sold on card in the stores. He was a mail away, so he came in this kind of packaging. But when you look at that packaging and the figure itself, all we've gotten is the toy we deserve. All we've gotten is a toy that really represents what we saw on TV, not what our parents saw. We now have the Sgt Slaughter that goes with our collection, the right one. Now, it's funny, I did mention so many times he is based on this real character, a wrestler, a real person. Sgt Slaughter back then, here he is now. There's a huge likeness, and it was pretty amazing. I don't know that entire backstory. If anyone does know the backstory of how that began, how that got started, let me know. Tell me in the comments, because I'm totally fascinated. I know I could look it up, but that's what you ask on YouTube. Look at these two men. They are ready to join my shelf. They're ready to join the Joes, as they should have years ago. They are an incredible couple of figures. As a matter of fact, I like them more than so many of the ones I already have. So I'm so glad I continue to collect G.I. Joe Classified, even if Hasbro has been so completely ignorant and completely short-sighted on the delivery of this incredible collectible. Want to see them up there? Should we show you what it looks like? Let's finish this baby. Well, they look great. They look fantastic with the rest of the personnel as well. What do you guys think about them? And is there a favorite, one or the other, that you like better? And are you going to run off and get one yourself? Now, do you collect classified? Now you know the why that I use G.I. Joe Classified for my collection, and why I collect who I do. How do you do it? While I wait for your answer, why not check out this show right here from PopCon? I think you'll really love this A to Z of Gen X Saturday Morning Cartoons 80s edition. So check it out, of course, after you've liked and subscribed. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show. Come back for more. Enjoy my Thanksgiving content as well. Until next time.